So this is the 1710 hours GMT edition of the Khoodeelaar television channel, being broadcast only on the internet, not on satellite, not on terrestrial, and not on cable platforms. This is Saturday, the 10th of December 2022, and we hope that we can update on events in Bangladesh where there is supposed to have been series of demonstrations right across Bangladesh on Saturday, the 10th of December. In the meantime, we are going back to events in Pakistan where Imran Khan is preparing for general election, and that preparation is going strongly going ahead. But there is this shocking piece about Imran Khan's wife Bushra Bibi. Apparently, an audio has emerged containing Imran Khan's wife Bushra Bibi discussing sale of watches. Now, this is a leak amid row over selling expensive gifts. Now, if these things are true, then these are definitely not things that are in accord with Haque Azadi and all the other campaign issues and topics that Imran Khan has been highlighting. And there are Lahore High Court on Friday dismissed a petition of former Prime Minister Imran Khan challenging the closure. Let's see what challenging the closure of his right to reply to objections raised by Shahbaz Sharif in his defamation suit against Mr. Khan. Meanwhile, the Islamabad High Court has issued the order on a petition seeking Imran Khan's disqualification as a lawmaker for concealing his putative daughter in his nomination papers. A session court, a sessions court in Lahore, hearing the rupees 10 billion defamation suit filed by Mr. Sharif, had closed Mr. Khan's right to respond or oppose after he failed to respond in time to the objections raised. Now, why has Imran Khan missed the deadline? Mr. Sharif earlier asked the court to close Mr. Khan's right to file his written statement because of inordinate delay on the part of the PTI chief through unnecessary adjournments. Now, these are perfectly new elements to the saga, and these are not consistent with the jalsas and the campaign for the Haqiqi Azadi that Imran Khan has been leading almost in an unstoppable way for the last 5 months. Mr. Khan then appealed the lower court's decision before the Lahore High Court. However, Justice Chaudhry Muhammad Iqbal dismissed his petition and upheld the trial court's decision. The defamation suit filed in 2017 alleged that the defendant, Mr. Imran Khan, started uttering false and malicious statements against the plaintiff, Mr. Sharif, that the latter offered rupees 10 billion to the former through a common friend in exchange for withdrawing the Panama Papers case pending the Supreme Court. Pending before the Supreme Court. It pleaded that Mr. Khan's baseless and defamatory statements were widely circulated by the media. We shall return to this later in the program. Let's check the position. And is there anyone there, anyone entering? We're just checking if there has been any guest joining us. Guest that we can see joining us. Let's try the other one. So, so this one is the one that is there any guest appearing? Okay, there is not any sign so far. So going back to the events in Pakistan and Imran Khan's two aspects of the news about Imran Khan. One is the alleged audio that has surfaced about his wife Bushra Bibi offering to sell watches. And the other is, of course, the 2017 defamation action filed by Sharif against Imran Khan. And this is the significance because Imran Khan is here supposed to have lost on the opportunity concerning the claims that were made in the Panama Papers to actually substantiate his allegation, which were not really his allegations. They were factual assertions made on the Panama Papers programs. After 4 years, the PTI chief filed his reply to the suit in 2021. Now, that is very odd indeed, and we shall examine this, not necessarily in this particular edition, because we have just come across this particular news. This is something that is highly inconsistent with the otherwise organized kind of appearance of Imran Khan's activities. And this, of course, the other one is, of course, the application to have Imran Khan disqualified and contending that following a judgment of the Supreme Court in the Speaker National Assembly Pakistan Islamabad versus Habib Akram case, all candidates contesting elections for either national or provincial assemblies were required to furnish an affidavit with respect to their credentials, assets, etc. He said one such information was regarding the children who were dependent upon a candidate, and in this regard, Imran Khan had wrongly mentioned two children and had omitted the third. Now, this is again news to us because we had not come across this particular aspect, but we shall be again checking on all this, fact checking and updating accordingly. Now, going to the Shamima Begum appeal, and what has happened is that Shamima Begum has been waiting for the outcome of the appeal, but there are some background information that have been posted by various news outlets. One of the ones says that well, it actually refers back to the statement by Bangladesh government immediately after Sajid Javid had withdrawn Shamima Begum's British nationality and said that Shamima Begum should go to Bangladesh. I mean, that shows the multiplicity of idiocies that Sajid Javid suffers from. Shamima was not born in Bangladesh. She was born in Britain, and by birth she is British. So the only country she could go to was Britain because that's the only country where she had a nationality. So what is happening is this republication of that item that if Shamima Begum had been sent to Bangladesh, which she couldn't be anyway, she would definitely face the death sentence. And that is something that is in the context of the appeal hearing that just ended with the Immigration Commission, whatever. And the other thing, of course, is the point about her mother being recognized for the first time in all this time, and her mother obviously joining in her appeal and sending a written statement about her feelings and saying that her world fell apart when Shamima Begum reportedly left Britain and entered Syria. And another couple is repeat of the British Home Office's absolutely stupid claim that desensitized former radicals never stop being radicals. Now, there has been no evidence, as we have said, there is absolutely no evidence that Shamima Begum was a radical for a start. The only evidence that has surfaced and has kept coming up is that this was a teenage child, a teenage girl who was repeatedly raped by a European man. And she was forced to have these pregnancies, and all her children sadly died. And there is such a horrendous collection of tragedies there. And instead of talking about any of that, the racists and the morons at the Home Office are saying completely unfounded, kind of fictionalized theory. They have not established that Shamima Begum was radical at all. Nothing she has said, nothing Shamima Begum has said on the record, and we only rely on the Western media. Nothing she has said to these media people, all of whom must have been briefed by the British intelligence and the CIA and the Canadian intelligence, I'm sure. None of the things that she has said, come on, calm down and see, look at the statements that they have published and attributed to her. None of these statements, as published by the British, American, Canadian media, has said any material thing whatsoever showing that this Shamima Begum was a radical. Of course, Shamima Begum is a radical according to the dirty digger Rupert Murdoch scum and the lying, racist Daily Mail group. The Daily Mail has been additionally aggravating in its invention and its lying against Shamima Begum. So let's see. Is anyone there on the guest side? Can't see any. So we don't see anyone entering the studio this particular edition. So let's continue. And so therefore, Shamima Begum was a child All the material times she was a child, and she is one of the three children that were exploited, sexually trafficked, well, trafficked for sexual exploitation as children to be raped. That's what happened. There was nothing Islamic about that whatsoever. There was only crime and criminality in that. And still, as we speak at 17:26 hours GMT on the Saturday, 10th of December 2020, 22. Saturday, the 10th of December 2022, we are broadcasting this from London in the UK. There is no comment about Shamima Begum now or in the recent years, and absolutely no comment about the publication of literally dozens of accounts about her. Dozens of accounts repeated hundreds of times or thousands of times by various outlets. But essentially, there have been dozens of items attributed to items that contain statements that can be attributed to Shamima Begum. Even if we limit these items to Shamima Begum speaking on the record for, let's say, 10 or 12 times, in none of these statements, as we can look generally in the current ordinary context of the linguistics being used in this narrative, there is no mention of radicalism by Shamima Begum. There is no hint anywhere in any of her speeches that have been reported by these absolutely mainly white Western kind of agents of the Western states, including Britain. And in the contents of this particular kind of data, they are nothing. They're nothing but apology for the UK government. So when there was the UK government not represented in the equation, there were UK government's agents that were present and interrogating Shamima Begum. Let's make another world exclusive assertion only being made by the Khoodeelaar campaign. Shamima Begum has been interrogated over the last 7 years in wherever she is by Western agents posing as journalists at least a few hundred times, if not kind of countable as a few hundred times, because some of the events, the conversations must have taken place off the record, even though the off the record would have been a totally sham disclaimer. Because everything about these interrogators, these agents, would have been put on record while Shamima was being interrogated. Of course, Shamima Begum, wherever in the camps she has been interrogated by these so-called reporters and friends over the last 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, wherever she has been interrogated, she should not have been interrogated, but she has been. Why should she not have been interrogated? Because interrogation is the least the least important aspect of doing the duty to safeguard her. And what they did, the interrogation was completely contrary to the duty of safeguarding children. Safeguarding children, including Shamima Begum, not just her, but including her. So, whatever number of times actually they have interrogated her, and nobody from her family, not her lawyer, not any friends, not any school friends, nobody has been allowed anywhere near Shamima Begum, but she has been allowed to meet British state agents, British probably MPs, probably ministers. Now, that is something that is quite independently that justifies being investigated. And we shall be doing that. Now, this particular introductory update is going to be ended here at 17:32. We shall come back, definitely come back again during this evening.